Yeah, go on.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress. Hello and welcome. I'm Helen Tite, and this morning we're going to be using a pole with a blend of Pilates stretching, which we've affectionately called Pileability. But actually, you guys are coming out of a hectic summer. Let's think about rerouting ourselves and our alignment in our body. And the great thing about using a broom handle is it helps us to visualize what's going on internally. And I'll give you an example. At the moment, this is my midline, the center of my body. And then we think shoulder to shoulder. Imagine that's a line. So you've got to marry it up, make sure it's nice and balanced. The same with our hips. Hips should be aligned. Often they're slightly off kilter, and the same goes for knees. So sometimes we are off kilter, and it often happens here at the hip or here at the shoulder, and that can be to do with tension. There might be injury. It's very easy to jar the pelvis and take the pelvis out of line. So using the myofascial technique, what I'm going to do, which is called trigger point work, what I'm going to do is just do some release work using the pole and see how we get on there. So we use this to assist movement and also resist movement. So let's start with alignment. I'm looking at feet, a little space between the feet. So technically it's feet together, turn toes out, line up, heels behind. At the moment, we are using the pole just for our balance. So I'm taking the pole right hand, rising up and lowering down, rising up and lowering down. Now it's interesting, as my body ages, things happen, and it helps me have greater empathy for the people slightly older than me up the spectrum. So recently I've started to appreciate how important it is to keep your feet mobile, because I do 100% recognise when our feet get tired and they're sore, they ache, and things happen to our feet, and we need these poor things. Okay, so rest your feet, just shake off your knees. We need our feet to help us weight bear for the rest of our active lives. So shaky, 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 shaky. Right, okay. So having said that, I need you to bend your left knee and just draw a circle with your knee and hip. But actually, I'm directing towards the foot, the ball of the foot in particular, drawing a circle, and it's the front, it's the top of the foot that I'm interested in here. Okay, switch direction. So there's a lot of vulnerability, and I can't think of the phrase. You know, the jury's out on being barefoot or not. Okay, switch sides, so we're on the right leg now. So lift up through the heel and draw a circle. What happens up the chain, the knee and the hip come into play. But it's really important that there's equal pressure as you roll around the ankle. When I talk about jury's out on barefoot, as cave women, we would have been barefoot a long time, but we have slightly evolved here, and we're very busy getting pedicures, taking away any hard skin on our feet. We wear comfortable shoes, so we're more vulnerable in the foot than we used to be. Okay, release out. And what we're going to do here is just take the toe behind you and just give it a little stretch out. So I'm just standing in neutral. There's nothing fancy going on here. I'm just allowing the toes to have a nice stretch. So the opposite to that is toes down and then toenails down. Enjoy that stretch. When we talk about attachments and kinetic chains, it all starts from the foot up. And it might be when you do this that there's a little sweet spot that you need to work on, maybe more around the big toe, more around the baby toe, and you'll feel the stretch in the ankle. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, switch sides. So again, we're looking at just stretching out the front of the foot. Really important. And you can see that I'm just moving side to side because I've just got a little sweet spot there that I need to massage in. And the opposite is pushing the toes down. And actually by doing that, I can feel that in my knee. So again, everything is talking. So it's all moving up the chain. So enjoy that. It's nice, isn't it? Okay. And then release. We're still using the pole for our balance. I want you with the right leg now to lift up and stay on this camera for me. Okay, so lifting up and lowering. Right foot is lifting, right hip is lifting. So again, with kinetic chain, balanced, and then I want you to come into right foot lift, and you can see how the pelvis shifts, and then try and bring up the alignment. Okay, and then start to circle. Here. Take your time with this. On the back side of the movement, so as your leg comes out of your peripheral vision, I want you to give yourself an extra bottom clench here. You'll notice that your left leg is starting to ache because you are stood still. It's static, it's holding, the muscles are contracting, everything's holding you upright. Okay, let's switch legs, not direction. Same thing, we are lifting up and balancing in the hip, and then we are circling through the hip. A little bit of a butt clench, the back side of the movement. And again, this is really important because it's starting to fire off your hamstrings. So the hamstrings are at the back of the thigh, they start into the hip and bottom, and they finish around the back of your knee. And the hamstrings are made up of 3 lovely, beautiful, sexy muscles. Same job as the bicep. However, we tend to neglect the biceps, the bicep femoris, that's what it's called, your hamstring muscle, a little bit. Shake that off, okay. Now what we're going to do, again, I'm staying on my side for a minute. I want you to just relax. Then I want you to clench your bottom, what is that? Clench your bottom just to push through your hips so you get a bit of a stretch here. And then the opposite is to lean forward using the stick. Okay, so you rise up and push through. So there's a butt clench to direct your hips forward. So there's a clenching of your butt cheeks. So push that through. And the opposite is folding at the hips and starting to get some mobility in the back. Okay. So if we just switch cameras, I'm going to start to adapt that. And that's what we always do in Pilates. We look at adaptations. How does your body feel? So I've got that push through. So that is also known as the posterior tilt of the pelvis. And then I'm hinging at the hips. But to do that, I'm going to roll and enjoy that stretch. I'm going to roll as I pull back up and through. So I'm creating a wave with my back, a C shape with my back, and then I'm sticking my tail out because that feels nice for me. I'm feeling a lot of work going on in my shoulders. Lovely. It's nice, isn't it? Okay, and stay down. So stay hinged at the hips, resting your hands on top of the pole. Okay, just wiggle jiggle your, what am I wiggle jiggling? I'm taking my eye gaze through one armpit and then through the other. So there's a little rotation. Starting to pull my belly in towards my backbone as well. So creating a bit of tension here. Bending through the elbows and a little cheeky look through. So again, what you get in here, these muscles down the side of your body into your back, your lats, they often get tight. They're big muscles and they get a bit grumpy. So it's important to stretch them out. When they're grumpy, they fire off tension in your back. Lovely. And release. Good job. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is to take the pole, we stand in neutral, still mobilising, still trying to get things firing off in your body. So your thumbs, if you can see that, your thumbs, just give you an idea of your hand placement. Your thumbs pop out and touch your thighs. Okay, all we're going to do is just lift up and lower. Okay, so your elbows don't go any higher than your shoulders. And I can tell where because this is a very light bar, I can tell on camera that I'm off kilter because I have a bad shoulder. So working on that balance. So try if you can, get your bar to come up to nipple height. And that's where God put them once, not necessarily where they live now. Oh, just thinking about my nan. Okay, now do us a favour, instead of holding the bar, I want you just to relax your fingers, so your fingers point towards the ground and slowly pull up. This is all about a shoulder blade movement. So as you perform this movement, it's your shoulder blades that is pulling you up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lovely. Okay, now firmly grip the bar. Firmly grip it and do it again. See how that feels. Okay, so nice and high, stretch down. So nice and high, stretch down. Good. Belly into centre. Good, lovely. Okay, relax your fingers because there's a bit of a finger thing going on there. Next move, side to side, shoulder mobility. See how you get on, Chris. Okay, so we're just rocking side to side. Now look, I'm not going any higher than shoulder height. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure end to end on the pole. End to end. There you go. As you do this, look in the opposite direction. So it's a bit of a combo. It may make you feel slightly dizzy. Now, if you want to, you can go higher. Use the pole. So push with your left to elevate your right. Push with your right to elevate your left. Be conscious of your shoulder blades staying low and down. And still look in the opposite direction if you feel able. And the reason we're doing this, again, we're releasing fascias. If you look away, you might feel it more of a stretch through your neck and upper back. Okay, lovely. That feel nice? Anything clunking? Are we okay? Good. Last time. Now remember, this is about your movement and your capacity. Okay, so just relax off your shoulders for a second because we're going to carry on there. So this time we are taking the bar again, wide-ish grip. So thumbs touch the outside of your thighs, okay? So from here, if you watch me, shoulders equal and balanced, I'm sending the bar forward and then I'm retracting my shoulders. So that looks like this. Forward, backwards. And I'm doing all of that without disturbing the rest of my body. Now very quickly you will fatigue here. Work the shoulder blades. No bendy elbows. No elbows. It's not an elbow thing. It's a shoulder blade thing. Good. I love you lot, by the way. Kind of thrown you in and it looks easy. It's a stick. What could possibly go wrong? Release. Well done. Roll those shoulders. Okay, so what I want us to do for a moment is come down the chain again. So right hand, right pole, right foot down, left foot back, right pole on back of left ankle. Whew, there's a lot of things to think about. Okay, so right pole touches back of left ankle. From here, there's a lift. Your right hand does not move. Your left heel or your left knee bends and straightens. Bends and straightens. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Got it? Okay, so again, you might need to use a sideboard for your balance. So lift and lower. Try, if you can, to really squeeze into heel to bottom, squeeze heel to bottom, and straighten knee on extension. 1 and 2. At the top of the move, tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses, and release. Well done. So like, oh, hello hip. Told you, always warn you, this is what happens when I have a bit of time off. I think about torture. Okay, so left foot, right heel, left hand with pole, comes around the back, touches. Okay, oh, that's a nice angle. So we go up and down. Up, put some effort into trying to straightening off your knee. Up and down. Up, good. So there's a lot of balance there. Left leg is working hard. Left thigh is really getting that bicep curl in. So it's called bicep femoris. I mentioned that earlier on, one of the hamstring muscles. Okay, think about your balance. Up to the top and tighten, tighten. Making sure that thigh is back, tighten. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Release, relax. Hello. Are we good? Okay. Side, side, circle front. Side, side, circle back. Side to side, circle front. Side to side, circle back. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh, hello. 1 and 2, 3 side to sides, circle front, 2 side to sides, circle back. So we're on the other hip, if that makes sense. 1 and 2, circle front. 1 and 2, circle back. Last time. 1 and 2, circle front. 1 and 2, circle back. Okay, so we're going to do a little shoulder combo now. So do what you can, modify where you can. If it's too much, Chris, with pole, try and replicate movement without pole. Okay, so recognizing that many of us struggle with shoulders, all right? So what we're going to do is bring up the bar right the way to the top of the movement at 12 o'clock. So it's a straight line. Even, I'm so tall. There you go. See, I can see that. So if I was personal training me, the first thing I would do is have a look at my shoulder correction. So I'm fortunate I've got a camera I can see this on. So we go down, 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 up, 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 down, down, down. You know what's coming, guys, right? Okay, so this is important, just working on this bit. Now start to take the hands slightly further backwards, if you can, and squeeze through your shoulder blades. What you're experiencing here is a stretch through the front of the pec, the chest. You might be feeling it in your shoulder. Take your time. And now start to give me a little back bend. And to do that safely, successfully, squeeze through the bottom and even draw your legs together. So if you're pinned together and thighs squeezed together. It will help with that support of the back bend. Okay, so again, we're working on opening up the chest. Now this isn't for everyone, do what you can. Now there was a time I could take this right the way up and over. And he still practices that. To take it up and over, you need to, oh, there you go. Oh, I did it, didn't think I could do that. Oh, it's a bit stuck. To do it up and over equally, try and pull apart. Oh, well, that's new. That's recovery for you. Okay. Now, if you're comfortable with that, fine. Me, I'm personally slightly freaked out. Great, good. Okay, now here's the change. So we've got the pole in the right hand, the thumb is pointing down towards the ground. Okay, it comes across to the left side of the body, to the front, and then back around. So here's the change. We're starting to bring in some movement into the low back. You got like belly shots today. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know why I'm apologising. I'm a female with curves. End of. Lovely. How's your back feel? This circle movement. It's not circumduction. It's not rotation.
Rotation.
Technically, it's not. It's flexion, lateral flexion, extension. Because normally this is circumduction, this is circumduction, this isn't. So I can't remember where it is. Anyway, other side. Thanks, Annie. Right, other side. Thumb down, over, and back, and over. Again, it's using a prop like this really helps us to understand what's going on with our own anatomy and check our own balance. This is also lovely because it's just giving you that lovely wrist mobility as well. That's really important to us. You keep going because you're looking mighty fine. Do you know what I forgot to do? Is record. I'm such a numpty. Keep going. Right, and release. Good job. Okay, so we started doing this at the beginning of the session. That it's about the hip flexion, hip extension. Okay. So right hand, right pole, right side, left leg is the active and working leg, okay? So we're going to start with just some sweep, some sweeps, sweep in of the leg. Okay, so I know you'll become quite reliant on what's going on the pole side, the right side. So think about that tension around your centre. To add complexity to this, if you feel comfortable with this movement, what if you looked left and right at the same time as sweeping your legs forward and back? It's a challenge. And the reason I'm asking this really hits with the nervous system because it's complex and there's a lot of stuff going on, okay? If that's too much, just stay with the sweep. But be conscious of what's going on the back side of the movement. So I know there's a lot of mass there for me and there's a lot of scar tissue in my hip. So I know I don't have that range backwards. So I'm really trying to work on that. I'm really trying to work on releasing the hips at the front. Okay, and let's switch sides. It's all really relevant because this is, again, it's talking about those fascias of the body. So amazing range of movement, by the way. Lovely. Okay, left side is the balancing side. Right is the swoop in. Okay, and again, if you want to look side to side, give it a go, even if it's a few attempts. And it's really working on the extension bit. That's the best bit for me. So when we are delivering, you keep going, when we're delivering things like a falls prevention movement or a falls prevention class, what we're looking at is making sure we maintain good range of movement in all joints. Because if we don't, we are unable to climb stairs, as an example. Okay, well done. And the same goes for lunges. Okay, right, so we're not quite done yet. We've still got quite a bit of leg work to go. So I'm going to encourage you to take the pole around your back and see if you can just pop your arms around it so the crooks of your elbows sit. So your arms are out of action, if you like. Okay, let's rotate. So forget about your arms. If you feel that they're a bit floppy, you can hold on to the bar and then squeeze through your buttocks, rotate to the left and to the right, or the right left. Keeping your hips square on. And here's the tip, breathe out as you rotate, because with fully inflated lungs, your movement becomes restricted. With deflated lungs, so exhalation, breathing out, you can increase your range of movement. Elaine's back in the house. So for those who are watching, we have a Zoom class running. That feels nice, right? It's a nice feeling. So we're going to add to this, okay? So as we come through the midline, so right side, so right arm twist in, left leg or left knee bends. So we're rotating. I'm just caught up in some cables a minute. There you go. Okay, now if you want to, as you rotate, so left side comes in, right side lifts. Quite the challenge, hey? Lovely, lovely. And rest, relax. Give yourself a moment here, have a sip of water or something, because that's quite opening in your chest and shoulders. So I just need you just to have a little wiggle jiggle. Okay, we're addressing lunges and squats, so lower half. Okay, so just off-piste. I went to a fitness class last night and I really struggle with my hips and not my strength. I've got strength, but a certain range of movements I struggle with. And I noticed that I could lunge on one side, but had no strength lunging off the other side. So I just want to have a little look at this with you guys. So let's, if we can, sticks there for your support. I want you to lift up on your left leg, take your left leg back, take it all the way down to the ground. Okay, now rise from that and step up, okay? Right leg do the same, take it back, right the way to the ground, rise up. Okay, now if this is too much, adapt. It's really about you. But I noticed there's a huge disparity in me getting my right knee down to my left knee. So I'm clearly working off my right side all the time. My left knee is getting the gap between the balance between my right side and left side is getting worse. And then I'm thinking, so as an exercise scientist who's experiencing aging, I'm like, what the hell? Nearly swore on camera then. So if I'm feeling it now at 50, What's going on at 60? What's going on at 70? Am I favouring a side now? Is that going to be a problem later on in life? Because God forbid something happens to my right side, what the hell's going to go on with my left because I don't have the power in the left? Does that make sense to you? Now the other thing that's happening here, because you're using a lot of muscle groups, as you're repeating this, you're going to feel breathless, which is completely normal, all right? So what I'm doing is lunging with you. What you're doing is rising on and off the floor. So you can see, so every movement has an exercise response or an exercise solution, or is called an exercise move. So what you're doing is rising from the floor. What this is a lunge. Yeah, and you'll notice the unsteadiness. You will feel fatigued. All of this is completely normal as I look off camera watching you all. And you can notice now on your last few how much pressure you're putting onto the stick. Are you staying on the stick on one side or are you switching? What's going on here? Well done. And then release. Well done. Okay, so we're going to kneel. Lovely. And sit back on your bottom, so bottom onto heels for a minute. Poles there, leaning up. And then I want you to hold on to the pole, at the top of the pole, and just see if you can just drop your chest through. Ooh. Okay. See if you can get your bum on your heels. Right, focus there. And if you want to, push your tail outwards. So instead of it just being relaxed onto your heels, just see if you can just come into an anterior tilt. Okay, and then release. Okay, so from here, bottom still on toes, knees slightly wider. I want you to create a C shape with your back and push backwards. Just that there's no weight at the front of the pole, but just a nice stretch through your back, a C shape. Straight arms if you can. Just enjoy that stretch in your thighs. Okay, and then stay in kneeling, take the bar once again around the small of your back. Your elbows are your point of contact, and then from there I want you to rotate again. So you're going to be massively restricted now in this movement, and the reason you're restricted is because you've reduced your levers, you've got shorter levers. Okay, and hopefully that will feel quite nice in your back. I'm not sure. Oh, mate, love. Okay, and then release. Okay, so coming forward onto all fours. Okay, so let's do some circles. Spread your fingers. You are in 4-point kneeling, so I'll just line up so you've got my angles correct. We're in 4-point kneeling, hands directly under shoulders. I want you to come out to the west, up to the north, around to the east and back down to the south, reverse. Okay, so we're circling, but I need you to navigate around the edges of your hands and around your hips. Okay, big fat circles make it bigger. And the important thing here, when you come forward, you're loading up your wrists. You're taking force and power into your shoulders. So this is all strengthening movements, lovelies. Okay, and then sit back. Toes connected, knees wide, bar in front of you, roll forward. Now see if you can just roll that pole further forward and just see if you can get that little stretch in your back. Now add in a tiny little rotation. And just little looks under your armpits as you stretch out through your back. Really focus on getting long here in your spine. Okay, and then release. Good job. All right, how are we doing? Onto our bottoms. Finally. Hey. Right, onto our bottoms. Feed the pole underneath the back of your knees and hold on. We're going to roll and stay. Okay, so we got an option to bend our arms to pull the knees into chest, or straighten our arms and add a bit of resistance. What does that look like? Arms straight, allow the thighs to gently press into the back of the pole. Okay, point your toes. Right. See if you could just rest your head, tuck your chin to get that lengthening out of your spine. Okay, and then from here, send your feet towards the ceiling. Okay, so what you get in here is a lovely stretch of the thighs. Okay, flex the feet. Oh, does that feel nice? Pointing toes, flexing feet. Use that resistance, so your legs are just gently pushing into the back of the pole, and the reason being we're increasing the stretch in the arms and the shoulders. It engages your core. Okay, toes out, heels in. Okay, let's see if we can lift up a little higher through our shoulders and allow the legs to drop away. So you're creating almost like these mermaid feet. Take the bar low. Okay, so we're going to lift and lower the bar. Lift and lower. Toes turned out. Chin to chest. And 3 and 2 and release. Bring the bar into chest so you're relaxing everything. We're going to take the pole again, but this time you're going to take an underhand grip. Okay, and we are going to roll. As we do this, no touchy, no touchy. Toes don't touch the floor. Now you don't really need to come up onto your tail here. Gentle rolls, elbows slightly bent. Last time, roll back and stay down. Well done. Okay, take your pole, hold it in your hands in front of you and up towards the ceiling. Keep your knees on your chest. Okay, so we're just going to take the pole overhead until the back of your hands just lightly touch the floor. From here, pull it all up slowly, using core muscles and chest muscles. Okay, so go as low as you can, breath in, exhale. But we're going to add to that, we're going to take the knees up into tabletop. Suddenly, this becomes quite big core work. Okay, and those legs are still for a few more, and then we're going to progress again. So I just keep taking out a plant here. Okay, the progression now is pole to knees, chin to chest, release down. Rise up, chin to chest, pole to knees. Okay, now we're going to add it again. As the pole goes overhead, the toes touch the floor. Take a breath in, bring it back, pole to knees, chin to chest. Got it? Whew. Don't know about you, but I'm a little bit shaky here. You still with me? Love you guys. Take your time. We have 3 more of these to go. Last time. Release down. Leave your hands overhead if you can. If it's too much, modify. Okay, bring your heels to bum, but your feet line up on the inside edges of the mat. So your feet are further apart, okay? And just for a minute, I want you to take your knees to one side together and then the other. So both knees drop out to the right. Both knees drop out to the left. There's a fairly big space between feet. And as you drop onto one side, I want you to add in a bum clench to increase the stretch. So both knees drop to the right, really clench your left bum cheek. And go to the left, right bum cheek. Lovely. Last time. Okay, let's bridge it up. So, like I said, feet on the inside edges of the mat. We roll up through the spine, stay at the top of the movement, and then we roll down. Leave your hands overhead. Whew, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Like I say, I don't mind a bit of flesh. I'm a woman with curves. Stay at the top of the movement. Walk your feet in together, okay? Your right foot is going to lift off the floor and tap down 6 times. Okay, so bent knee to chest, toe tap, bent knee to chest. Keep the hips nice and high if you can. Okay, switch sides. So really squeeze through the buttocks. Toe tap, 6, 5, 4, 3. Well done. And release. Send the spine down and give yourself a moment. Release the bar overhead for a second. And bring your arms back down, because that's fairly intense into your shoulders for a little while, right? Okay, so we're rolling onto our side. Are we all right? Okay, so we're lying on a side, ear is rested into your arm, however that looks. We're just going to start by opening and closing the hips in clam. So make sure your hips are stacked, feet stacked and open and closed. So I know this can feel strange. So quite a bit of hip work here. Da-da-da. Lovely. Okay, and then from there, lovely people, open, kick, bend, down. So try and keep the heels connected. 1, and then far off, 2, bend the knee, 3, and down. Okay, try and control the movement. So if you need to watch your own movement, separate, extend, flex, and lower. Up and separate. This time we're going to do 8 kicks. 1 and 2 at the knee, 3, and I need you to really contract and shorten the thigh muscle. So every time you kick to me, you're squeezing the thigh. That's really important here. So that's our extension work. We need this to support our knees. 2 more. Well done. And release, foot down. Okay, so same leg straightens off down the line of your yoga mat, and then from here we do circles. 1 and 2 and 1. I'm going backwards, forwards. So I'm going back, up and forward, back, up and forward. Okay, so think about your alignment right the way through this. Think about how you're feeling. How's the hips starting to feel? Okay, well done. We're wearing it now, yeah? I'm feeling that power in the hip. Switch direction, here we go. Swing. So again, focus on the back side of the movement to activate those glutes. Lovely. We're not done. We're not done. Okay, hold. Relax toe. Heel up, tiny, weeny, little presses, tiny, weeny, little presses, tiny, weeny, little presses, tiny, weeny, little presses. Knee forward. Give yourself a pat, give yourself a rub. Well done, lovely people. Okay, so we're switching sides, whipping through. How are we? We're all right? Okay, So let's start with clam. So I'm resting my head on my hand because I need to see you. Okay, so stack knees, open and close without rolling, because that's what we don't want to do that. So we just need to open and close and know there's resistance here. Don't worry about your setup too much. And I was talking earlier on about weak sides, strong sides, and the disparity. We got to keep working on that balance all the time, still working on trying to make the sides, the right and left, feel equal. You might not always feel that. Up, extend, bend, lower. Separate first. So it's really important to get that external hip rotation first. Forward and in and down. Lovely. And this is that kick that I talked to you about. So in Pilates, we're always trying to look at opposite movements because we're not looking to build muscle, but we are looking for that long lines in muscle. And that's so many of these movements are so aligned with what you see with ballerinas. Going back to the history of Pilates, this was part of rehabilitation and for ballerinas and powerlifters. It's similar movements, but it's working the muscles in all their actions and opposite actions. I'm wittering, I know that. So up and hold, and then kick. Kick. So again, range of movement around the knee joint, really squeezing hard, so we're coming up at an angle. So we're really feeling it into the hip. Good job. Lovely. Oh, 2 more. We're not quite done. Lovely. And then we take the leg, the top leg, all the way down to the center of your yoga mat. I've just changed my angles a little bit so you can see me well. Okay, and then from here we circle. So back up and down, back up and down. Lovely. So bracing through the center. So we are working and strengthening muscles just above the hip, across our waistline here. You're going to feel this around the hip and bottom when you perform this movement, but we're looking for that stillness and that connectivity in your center. Switch direction. So we're always engaging the core muscles, but we're really focusing on it in these type of movements. Lovely. Now I find one direction easier than the other. I don't know how you feel. Okay, and then from here, toes down, heels up, and we press, we press, we press. Good job, everyone. Woo-hoo. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And then rest. Oh, give yourself a pat, give yourself a rub. Okay, so we are coming back to using the pole. Hopefully, I'm going to move down the mat a little to accommodate it. Okay. So if you just watch me for a second, there's always this impaling thing that goes on with poles. Right, okay, so I need you firstly to take your feet slightly wider than neutral. Curl your toes under your heels and then work on lifting your knees off the floor for a minute. Again, what we're getting here is that contraction of the quad, so the shortening of the quad. That's why this bit's important. Okay, so we've got that. Then relax your feet, lower your face, straighten your arms on top of the bar, and then lift the pole. Bring the pole to your chest, to your chin, and extend. So 1 and 2. So if you can see me, I'm drawing down towards my chest and then sending it away. So squeeze in. Eye gaze goes from right below you, looking straight down to the top of your yoga mat. And each time squeezing through the buttocks to lift the chest. Lovely. Give me 3 more. 2 more. Last time. Hands wider, touch the ends of your pole, bring your head or chin to chest, bring the pole to the back of your head. That's it, give me 3 more. 2. Last time, and then release. Oh, I don't know about you, but that was hard. You all right? Okay. A pole now is on your back. So get yourself into position. I'm like, oh, I'm dying. Right, okay. So from here, we are going to lift the pole away from the bottom and lower. How do we do that? We squeeze the bottom. We lift up through the chest. Now your fingertips are on the ends of the pole. So as you lift your chest, you're creating these lovely wings. Got it? Up, up. Now if you want to, you can add a little rotation. So you lift up and twist, lift and lower. Lift and twist, lift and lower. Lift, twist, lift, lower. Lift, twist, lift, lower. 2 more. Up, twist, and lower. Last time. Lift and twist, lift and lower. Get rid of the pole. Tuck your hands at shoulder height or chest height. Push up and back into child's pose first. Bringing your feet back onto the mat if they've moved away. Right. Curl toes. Lift knees. All the way back into downward facing dog. Oh. Guys, just play with this. You know what to do. Just release off your back for a moment. Oh. Enjoy. Now, get all primal with it. What do you need to do? What do you need to stretch? Do you need to shift forward and backwards slightly? Is it both heels down? Okay, settle here in down dog. Relax your thighs. Push back. Knees down. Toes wide. Sorry, knees wide. Settle in child's pose. Your left hand. Feed it through your right. Bring your left shoulder down. Now, I want you to push your left shoulder into the mat. Switching sides. Feed your right in. Right shoulder comes down. And just look through, look up if you need to. Really getting some weight of your right shoulder down into the mat. Push your arm down into the mat. And then release. Sit up. Right. Catch your breath. Have a quick sip. And lie down. Whew. Right, I'm just going to do some relaxation with you. Right. Lie down and make yourself comfy, please. Let's start by that breath work. We just change cameras, please, Owen. Lovely. So, the breath work is really important. It's what we now affectionately call powering down. So we know the term powering down and how it resonates with us in terms of computers and technology. Well, you yourself need to power down, switch off, disengage, reset. And even if it's for a few moments each day. So your power down starts with your breath. Use your breath work. Think about how you breathe to take the stress out of your shoulders. Be conscious of your breathing and how you relax. Allow that breathing to be audible. It's okay if you make gentle snores or loud ones. I don't mind. But your breath is your connection from mind and body. But your breath helps you to turn off all things that make us stressed in this moment. So as we power down, we need to think about the muscles too. So take your awareness to your toes and feet and ankle and actively relax the feet. So you might visualize them being tight and then relaxing, or actively spread your toes, bunch up your toes, relax your toes. Now progress that. Do that into your calf, your knees. Again, we have a tendency to hold tension in thighs, in backs. Many of us hold tension in ankles and are jittery around our feet. Feel that relaxation, that breath, power, helping to relax through the spine, and really spend some focus here around the shoulders. Take all that breath into relaxing through the face and jaws. Maybe stretching out your face, stretching out around your jaws. Maybe even a light massage around your teeth and your cheekbones. Oh, it's nice. Relax through your hairline. Eyebrows. Again, we hold tension here. And then a big fat sigh. You know, that sigh when you sit and watch the sunset, collapse into that chair and watch the world pass by. That sigh. That sigh of, oh yeah, I'm in exactly the right place where I need to be. That sigh. And then from here, we start to create some movement back to our fingers. So now that we've powered down, we reset. That's the important thing here. the reset. Making sure that as you create movement back in your body, it feels like it's where it's supposed to be. That your head is in the right place, metaphorically speaking. And you're ready to address and take on the day. That you're switched on. And you've rebooted. When you're ready, in your own time, bring yourself into a seated position. Just give yourself a moment here, because you're pretty awesome. You are so cool. And all our work is designed to be provocative, to challenge normal fitness, normal, whatever that means, to question everything we do is around function and movement for life. And that is why we do what we do. And that's really important because we've got one body and we've got to respect it as best we can, even though it lets us down. But no matter what, we have to love it, right? Because if we can't love ourselves, how are we going to love others and let others love us? And on that note, you know how to get in touch with us. Give us a round of applause. Thank you very much, my beautiful people. I love you.